Has Mr. Guha reported? I think we are still waiting for Mr. Samarjit Guha.
Mr. Guha is there. I can see him, but he's got a mask on, so you can take a mask off. Okay. Now I can see more of you.
We didn't hear from him though. So, sir, Mr. Guha.
Right, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay,
Now we can see you and we can hear from you.
Yes.
It's absolute loud and clear. Thank you so much. So I think we are good to go.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Birla High School and Shyam Metallics present the 13th Odyssey, a virtual inter-school fest. We also have our title co-sponsor, Honda, in association with our media partner, The Telegraph, and radio partner, 91.9 Friends FM.
We would also like to thank Silica Motorcorp Private Limited for sponsoring the prizes and trophies, our hospitality partner, Orchid Garden and Banquets, cafe partner, Beans and Roots, our educational partner, Kush Learning Institute, and our refreshment partner, Pugalia Caterers. To be or not to be is not the question, but the action. As we are ready for the Turncoat debate, sponsored by Cover Drive. The debate is called double cross over here. It's a form of debate where the speaker literally debates against himself. As in a regular debate, an individual is allotted a certain amount of time to speak. But in a turncoat debate, the debater has to divide the time allotted to him in equal halves, wherein he speaks for the motion in the first half and then halfway through goes against the very same thing.
A turncoat debate helps students develop a 360-degree thought process. That is, develop the skill to look at a subject or a situation from all angles, weigh arguments for and against it, and thereafter take a stand. The participants will be judged on content, fluency, delivery, and overall impact. Time for the judge's introduction. We welcome our first judge for the turncoat debate, Mr. Samarjit Guha. Mr. Samarjit Guha, the Director, Operations of an NGO called Future Hope. It provides shelter, education, health, and sports support to nearly 300 vulnerable children from streets and slums. Samarjit Guha loves to sing, write, and occasionally act. We welcome you, sir.
Our next judge for today's double cross is Mrs. Vandana Paul. Mrs. Vandana Paul is the principal of La Martinelle Primary and High School, a school in South Kolkata with the motto, a school that cares. She has taken the school to great heights in the 32 years of her career. Her prime aim in life has been to educate the aspiring class of society and enable them to empower themselves. She has extended her helping hand to numerous children by providing them with scholarship. Her latest venture has been to provide e-education. She has also launched a platform called Gyan Kosh, which provides e-education. Her mantra in life has always been what you focus on expands. She has always urged her students to dream big and change their lives by focusing on positive aspects of their lives. We are extremely glad and honored to have you amongst us, ma'am. Welcome to Odyssey 2021.
Now, let me have the privilege to introduce the moderator for the event. Mr. Leslie Francis Digama was a teacher at St. Xavier's Collegiate School, Kolkata for 21 years. Before joining SchoolNet India as Vice President and National Head of Training and Development. He has been instrumental in conducting on-stage programs both as a teacher and as a corporate executive. He regularly represents his club in debates, quiz, and stage performances. Currently, he works as a learning and development consultant with schools, colleges, and organizations such as the British Council. He has been associated with Odyssey for several years now as a judge as well as a moderator, and loves being with young people around.
So let's begin. Double Cross, sponsored by Covered Drive. And now it's over to you, Chairperson, sir, for the rest of the event. Thank you, sir.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me as a moderator. I hope I'm the classic question for the last 1.5 years. Am I audible? If you if you're on screen, you can just say yes or give me a thumbs up, and that's fine. I want to make a couple of quick opening remarks before we call the young speakers, all 10 of them, to show what Turncoat really means. My opening remark is actually the word turncoat comes from a very ancient practice of politicians who used to wear coats, great coats, and they used to have a little badge on the lapel. And this badge showed which party they were from. But if they were planning to represent somebody else, they would quietly turn the lapel inside, and that was called the turncoat. So for today, you are all turncoats, okay, my young friends. And the other version of turncoat which Birla High School has coined is double cross, which reminds me of something called a dad joke. I don't know if you heard of dad jokes, but the dad joke of why did the chicken cross the road? And the answer is to get to the other side. And then the other dad joke is why did he cross back? Because he wanted to be a double crosser. And why did he step in a puddle on the way back? Because he wanted to be a dirty double crosser. Now, we don't want any of you to be dirty double crossers because there's this little rule that says not safe for work language will not be permitted. Judges, please note. Judges, also please note that there was a slight variation in the way we're going to conduct this. It's not going to be half for and half against as initially announced. It's really going to depend on my mood. I'm going to say switch whenever I think you're getting deeply into your topic. I will say switch, and you will have to switch your stance. I also notice from the list of people here that there are a few seasoned debaters whom I've met before. So at the end of every debate, a lot of people say, "I rest my case, but not my stance." This time you're going to have to change your stance as often as possible, and as often I like it to be changed. Judges will give you special points for transitioning from the current word that you're seeing to the opposite side. That's important, right? So 3 minutes on the bell. Can I test the bell, please? Got it? And there's no warning. There's nothing. 3 minutes and you're done. Whatever you've said in the 3 minutes is all you get to say. Okay. So we will. We're just waiting for a judge to get back in a few minutes. I'll leave it open. Anyone has any questions, you can just unmute and ask. Okay, so if you don't have any questions, The number of switches, that's a normal question. How many switches should there be? I'm sorry, I'm not going to tell you. It really depends on how good you are. If you're very good, I'll switch you very often. If you're not so very good, I may go a little easier on you and allow you to develop your case, right? So it's open. I will not tell you how many switches there are, but if you're really getting stuck and you've got to keep talking, don't worry. There's another very common phrase like turncoat and double cross. It's called saved by the bell. So we'll have the bell which will save you at the end of 3 minutes. Okay, so whatever you can say in 3 minutes is what you get to do. Okay, uh, I I actually noticed something very interesting. I'm going to look at my sheet again. I found the topics are really highly debatable topics. All of them, all 10 of them are going to be interesting topics, and it's really up to you kids to make it interesting, as interesting as possible. Uh, Apart from that, I did notice that now I'm not a sexist, but there are 8 girls and 2 boys in this list. Okay, so I'm going to leave it to the judges to decide whether who are the natural turncoats in real life. Are they the men or the women? Because the old politicians were all men. There were no women. They weren't even allowed to vote in those days, and they were all turncoats. And today we have 8 girls and 2 boys on the podium, one at a time. And I'm just waiting for one judge to confirm that we can go ahead. And Samarjit, can we go ahead? Okay, good. So now I'm going to start off, and I'll tell you your time starts now, right? Uh, we'll start with Anvita Jaipuria, Modern High School for Girls.
Yes, am I audible and visible?
Oh, you're audible and visible, and you have a nice smile. In the present times, says Anvita, this is your topic. In the present times, social networking skills are more important than social skills. Social networking skills are more important than social skills. Anvita and all the participants only got their topics this morning at 9 o'clock. So let's see what you've done in the last couple of hours. So your time starts now, Anvita.
In a world where everything is online and a global pandemic has confined us to our homes, the social networking skills are the only tools that can help us communicate with each other and overcome and let this world remain functioning. Client meetings are taking place on Google Meet, school is taking place on Zoom, discussions are taking place on WhatsApp, and contracts are being signed on email. Without these social networking platforms, we would have been left isolated and disconnected. And without
Switch.
now we've only been talking in the context of the pandemic, but what happens when the pandemic ends and we return to normalcy? Social skills are the only things we have to rebuild our connections. We can't rely on texting a certain emotion to show how we feel. We should be able to express our emotions, which is our social skill. Irrespective of your position or profession, you need to be outspoken and have the skills of good listening and proper articulation to voice your opinions and to be heard, to make an impact. Now, making an impact depends on the large audience you have, which can be catered to through social networking. Social networking overcomes your geographic barriers. It can be considered better than social skills because it increases your outreach from your 4-kilometer house radius. I can sit in India and talk to someone in Australia and learn about their culture and tradition over continental barriers. Now we speak about having a larger outreach, but I would rather build a deep emotional connection with 8 people than have 250 followers I barely know and understand. Social skills help me build such emotional connections. It promotes the authentic expression of your feeling and dialogue. It not only allows you to speak with the other person, but have experiences with the other person and make memories with the other person. It helps you understand your emotions. Now you can understand your emotions through social networking skills, and you can convey your emotions to a larger platform. You can raise awareness about social political movement like that of women empowerment and even promote your local business. The BLM movement, for example, gained momentum over the entire world because of some young advocates advocating on it on a social media platform. Climate change, the LGBTQ movement, I would know nothing about them if I did not have social skills. Now we must remember that the social networking skills can be very misleading because social media, the platform, is a breeding ground for misinformation and inaccurate facts that misguide you. Without good social skills, when you only rely on networking, you can easily be coerced and manipulated. You need your good social skills to understand and identify who you can trust and who you cannot trust. Social skills aren't only verbal, but they are also non-verbal. But if we say they're not only verbal and non-verbal, this is why platforms like Zoom and Google Meet exist. They are audio-visual platforms. They are a convenience. They are not a hindrance. They cater to our surroundings. They help us stay in our own comfort zone and convey what you want to and reach a larger platform, make a larger difference, and be change makers of who we want to be. We are not separated by distance. We are not separated by barriers, but we are joined by
Switch.
that. Now when I say it's only it's a convenience, not a hindrance, the word convenience has to be taken. If we get too convenient with something, we will lose all chance of adaptability. 45% of the teenagers spend their times online. They stay in their comfort zone and they don't know anything about adapting to a different.
Thank you, Anvita. You talk continuously for 3 minutes. Okay, that's amazing. You did a good job. I think we did about 8 switches, and you. I hope you managed to convince the judges. We are doing. We're giving points for the content, the delivery, and the transition, and we're also cutting points for any points which are repeated. I think the judges are clear about that. So, well, thanks, Anvita. Those of you who are on camera and would like to clap, you can do a virtual clap like this. Okay, we need an audience for this, right? So, okay, we'll move on to the next person, and that's Tavishi Bagaria from South City International. Tavishi, can you come on camera, please? Tavishi has the topic of all countries must take in refugees from their neighbors. I think it's a very topical kind of thing to discuss today. All countries must take in refugees from their neighbors. I can't see Tavishi on screen. I can still see Anvita spotlighted.
So am I audible, invisible?
Okay, you're audible and visible. Thank you very much, Tavishi. Your time, all countries must take in refugees from their neighbors. Your time starts now.
The next time you search something online or use a Google app, think about what would have happened if we had refused to welcome co-founder of Google and refugee, Sergey Brin. I would like to bring a constructive to the table. Firstly, the presence of refugees from neighboring countries affects some of the most important dimensions of social life in host communities. Now, nearly half of the refugees residing in Rwanda are from the Democratic Republic of Congo, and most have been living their respective camps for 2 decades. This long-term presence of refugees from one of its neighbors has allowed for social interaction between groups to become part of life. Now, low-income and middle-income countries host majority of refugees worldwide. In most of these hosting large masses, local communities often experience a high level of poverty and face increased chances of economic vulnerability. Let us take an example of Uzbekistan, which borders the north of Afghanistan. Uzbekistan wouldn't take in Afghan refugees for a very valid reason. They say that their main crossing point is close to ensure security, and they had no plans to open it. Now, security is
Switch.
Now, talking about low-income countries, now I'll be talking about developed countries since the motion reads all countries. Another point to note is the fact that an influx of refugees will lead to more menial jobs taken by refugees, allowing for more formation of a middle class. Now, the economy in this case will be charged up with the influx in labor that is willing to do the menial work necessary for industry, because obviously, in order to survive, people do need to earn a living, and this is a win-win situation because this
Switch.
Now, Article 3 of the 1951 UN Refugee Convention states that the contradicting states shall apply the provisions of this convention to refugees without discrimination as to race, religion, or country of origin. But that's where another grave issue lies. The motion talks about refugee in totality, who is someone who has been forced to flee his or her country because of prosecution, war, or violence, not someone of XYZ religion who fled or XYZ who fled. Now, why should all countries do so? Qualitative evidence illustrates how greater economic interaction between the two populations helps increase trust between refugees and host communities over time. Moreover, local communities argue that economic and social support given to refugees plays a key role in reducing and preventing conflict between the two groups. Now, let us talk about what shall happen. So, another error in the motion stems from the word all. All countries accepting refugees from their neighbors is precarious because we need to look into the feasibility aspect. Do we think that low developed countries or even developing countries can provide enough resources for a tremendous amount of refugees and rehabilitate them? Here, the entire factor of sovereign citizenship in place will be curbed. The issue is also with the regulations. The best example for this is Bangladesh. Bangladesh could not even provide suitable living conditions, even if they had a good thought behind it. And also, so there are a few theoretical arguments as to why hosting refugees may threaten safety. Firstly, refugees' prior exposure to violence may increase their likelihood to perpetrate future violence. Secondly, the relative social and economic deprivation from opportunities may increase propensity to engage in criminal activity.
All right, so that's your time. Thank you, Tavishi. Again, I don't know whether Turncoat really brings out the speed in people, but the first two speakers have spoken quite fast. And that if you speak fast, you're probably thinking fast as well. So that's great. I'm not sure whether we have decided whether you are on which side of the fence you are, because you seem to have done a good job on both sides. Thanks, Tavishi. We'll move on to Harshita Saraf of Lakshmipat Singhania Academy. Harshita, an interesting topic. Harshita, right now we can't see you.
You can't?
Now we can. Now we can. You got to speak in order to be seen. Yeah? Okay. Harshita's got a very interesting topic. It says stay-at-home mothers are more effective at raising children than stay-at-home fathers. And now, since we have weighted 8:2 among the speakers and 1:1 among the judges, so let's see where this topic takes us. Harshita, your topic: stay-at-home mothers are more effective at raising children than stay-at-home fathers. Your time starts now.
Right. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we must understand that our motive today is not to debate upon the difference in the inborn ability of stay-at-home mothers and fathers to raise children. Because when you think about it in retrospect, both the sexes can perform the quotidian tasks. However, the difference lies in the existence of several external factors that potentially influence this ability of theirs. And in the case of stay-at-home fathers, there sure are many. First, the fact that there is a need for us to even debate the ability of men to raise children is highly indicative of the stereotypes and stigma that surround stay-at-home dads. A 2013 Pew Research Center survey found that while 51% of Americans think a child is better off with a mother than with a stay-at-home father, only 8% of them think that a father is good enough.
Switch.
However, when we talk about the potential of fathers to raise children, understand that working fathers want to stay at home. 48% of them would prefer to stay at home with their children. However, as much as 90% of moms believe that they want to go back to work. Now, this brings us to the essential conclusion that for women it is considered to be a duty, whereas for men it is essentially a personal choice many times, which causes them
Switch.
to be willingly, right. So when we talk about them being able to willingly provide for their children, understand that it is more or less what we call maternal affection that is developed from a very earlier stage in the child-mother relationship that happens so and so. So whether or not it is a duty or a personal choice of a mother, that connection between a mother and a child is undeniable, which has to be cultivated with a father over time, whereas in the case of women, it is already biologically present. Now,
Switch.
when we talk about the raising capacity of fathers that we have, another very important interconnected point of difference here is that we must consider how much of a mental health backward thing that mothers face when we talk about the depression, the sadness, the anger that they have to, because of the simple fact that a number of times they have to give up on the work to do. This in turn gives up a certain scenario where mothers do not want to raise children as effectively as fathers would want to,
Switch.
because it is a choice that they have taken up willingly by giving up their work. Now, understand that in case of fathers, the entire mother and child care has been designed in such a way that all the play dates, every single child program, they're all designed according to a mother and a child format. It is very difficult for a father to incorporate themselves into this entire process, which usually results in them being very much isolated
Switch.
in the community, which does play a big impact on the mental health of the child. Let's talk about the difference in parenting style and its effect on what we essentially term as the dad effect. When children have close relationships with their father figures, they're much less likely to engage in sexual intercourse at an immature age. They're less likely to engage in high behavior. Also, seeing the fact that they're much more likely to have healthy and stable relationships in the future. We also need to understand that they tend to have higher IQ test scores. I'm sorry, am I cutting out?
You carry on. We're losing a bit here and there, but it's okay.
Right. Right. By the age of 3, they also endure much fewer psychological problems throughout their life.
Yeah, we had a little trouble with your audio, but we're going to have to go with that. So I know stay-at-home learners and stay-at-home speakers and stay-at-home students, teachers are all having the same problem with audio and video fading in and fading out. Yes, Samarjit?
I don't think so. Speed is a criteria. So if you, from the next speaker, say that they don't have to rush through it, even though you might be making switches. That's A. And B, they can speak a little away from the mic, because the last speaker probably had very good points, but it's echoing and it's just getting scrambled, like a scramble basically. So I feel sorry for her, but just to be away from the mic and to a certain slower speed. I mean, the switch the marks is not dependent on the speed. Sorry, it's on the switch basically, isn't it?
Absolutely. Thank you, Samajit. I hope the speakers heard that. I think what we'll do is, when the speakers come on for the first time, we'll just check their audio and video before we give them a start, right? And if any judges have a problem, just flag it. Okay. Yes, Harshita gave us a little bit of statistics. I don't know how far they're true, but the speed of rate of speech is not important. The rate of the speed of speaking is not important. It's what you say that's important, which is actually being judged. And I'd like to reiterate that for what Mr. Guha just told us. Okay, so we'll bring in the next speaker now. The first of the two males is Ronak. Ronak Ghosh, please come on camera. Delhi Public School, Ruby Park.
Good morning, sir.
There you are. Okay, fine. Can you say a few words so the judges are happy? Samajit, give me a thumbs up if it's all okay. Yeah.
Everything is okay, sir. Perfect.
Okay, good. So you're not going to rush through your speech. Your speech is on Indian parents.
Right.
Indian parents need to give more space and liberty to their teenagers. So this is a topic that hits home a little close. So Indian parents need to give more space and liberty to their teenagers. Raunak, your time starts now.
A very good morning. Firstly, a very good morning to one and all present here. I am Ronak Ghosh from Delhi Public School, Ruby Park, Calcutta. And again, happy Ganesh Chaturthi to all of you. Well, my topic is Indian parents need to give more space and liberty to their teenagers. I will be speaking for the motion and challenging the motion. Walking on the streets or drinking a cup of tea in a roadside dhaba, all you can hear is people talking about the current situation of the youth and the teenagers. Well, speaking for the motion, just think about your teenagers when you used to say, okay, some of you may deny providing personal space to the kids because you are parents and you have to should know everything about what's going around or in the kids' bedroom. You can check the wardrobes, bags, and what they are doing on laptop, but this way you're going to lose their trust. There are chances teens would start hiding everything from you as you speak. Sneak peek would cause them to do so. Surveys suggested, well, it is important to give them the desired amount of space. If you respect their privacy concern and show them trust, then ultimately they will treat you as a friend and share things, daily updates or plans. This is the time when they don't expect you to be the guardians only, but friends. Okay, enough. Teenagers are self-discovery years, and without right direction and guidance, they could end up with physical or mental problems. That's for sure that this way there will be no friendly relations with teens. Yes, virtual may seem sweet and beautiful, but there have been... Okay, gadgets and online surfing is really assisting to every one of us. The new education system relies on giving files and homeworks and projects via mails and websites. If the guardians truly show trust with their online time, in reverse, teen can teach you about computer and internet, hence better relationships. Okay, now coming to the challenging the motion. Yes, virtual life is difficult. Of course, it's very difficult because there is a lot of cyberbullying, cheating, account hacking, and much more. Such freedom could cause these type of unwanted moments. Despite the other benefits of spending time alone, privacy sometimes brings anxieties and stress to teens. Okay, so now teen secrecy will help parents with the decision making. Quality as the kids got their personal spaces, then surely they'd assist and help you with the household things. Well, teens need that confidence in themselves. They want their parents to trust them. Okay. Now, coming back to the very important point is that if you are giving too much of space to your children, what will happen is that they can go on the right track. So you have to keep that balance among you and your child. Thank you, everybody.
Sorry, the bellman told me to switch off. Okay. I don't know. At one point in time, I think you your position a little bit switched. So, so anyway, and I also see that you have lots of guitars in the back of you. So obviously you would have been happier singing this speech. Okay. Right. Thanks very much. That went well, and good rate of speech as well. Uh, so now we're coming to the halfway mark of today, and we're going to call on Devi Shankla. Is that right?
Sankla, sir, but it's fine.
Okay, yeah, but whatever was written on this paper. So from Bluebell School International, is that in Delhi? Or is
Yes,
that here?
sir.
Oh, it is. Okay. So your topic, Devi, is food, clothing, and shelter are no longer the only necessities in the modern world. So I presume you're going to tell us there's some other necessities. Food, clothing, and shelter are no longer the only necessities in the modern world. Your time starts
Sir,
now. Yeah, you want to ask something?
yes, I
Yes.
wanted to confirm that my audio and video is coming properly.
Your
Right?
audio and video is coming perfectly. Otherwise, the judge would have flagged me. He hasn't flagged,
All right.
so you're fine. Okay, so your time starts now.
What is a necessity? It's something that you cannot live without. Thousands of years ago, food, clothing, and shelter were man's basic needs. But in today's modern context, in a world that's virtually unrecognizable, where instead of just survival of the fittest, we have complex social infrastructure, man's basic needs are expanded to education, healthcare, and technology. Firstly, in this
Switch.
however, we say that a necessity is something that's required for human survival. We on side opposition recognize the importance of education, healthcare, and technology. However, in a world where a sizable chunk of the global population still does not have access to clean drinking water and food, where millions die each year due to malnutrition and homelessness, it is apparent that even in this modern world, food, clothing, and shelter are still necessities. Now, the problem with expanding However, coming back to my first argument on education, we see that education is important in addressing the deep-seated inequalities in this modern capitalistic world. Literacy is the vaccine to poverty, and education is necessity for social and economic development. We see that to get resources in modern world, we need money. For money, you need a job. For job, you need training, i.e. education. For a person living in abject poverty to whom food, clothing, and shelter are not guaranteed, the best and most sustainable lift out of this dire strait is education. On the other hand, we see how side proposition has based their argument on the very flawed factor that education is the best means of addressing inequalities. Because what are these inequalities? They derive from the unequal distribution of food, clothing, and shelter. And by ensuring equal access to these basic resources first, we address the root cause of these problems, we address the heart of the problem, and we create a level playing field for all. Moreover, it is extremely privileged to assume that a person who does not know where is coming from can spend 10 plus years in school. We see that education can open possibilities that otherwise would be closed. We see that education helps you live a healthy and productive life. And we see that education can help you end a cycle of poverty, which is why it's so important as a basic need. Secondly, we see the importance. Coming back, we see the problem with expanding the definition of basic necessities of life is that it takes away with the purpose of focusing on providing the three basic needs first. By restricting our definition to the three criteria of food, clothing, and shelter, we can focus our full attention on ensuring access to these needs first before talking about education, healthcare, and technology, which can help improve the quality of human life. On the other hand, side opposition is extremely restrictive in its definition of basic needs. It ignores the fact that things like healthcare and technology are crucial to modern survival. In today's modern world, you're not expected to take care of your medical needs yourself. There are institutions like hospital, and without access to quality healthcare, millions die every year, which is why it's so important as a basic human need. We see that the modern world is not a monolith. There are varying levels of development that you can apply these higher standards for basic necessities to developed countries, but it's arbitrary to aim for these standards for underdeveloped countries. Side proposition ignores the most vulnerable by ignoring the present urgent needs of today and talking about future hypotheticals, trying to build a perfect tomorrow while ignoring the ground reality of the situation, which is that people are dying today and more.
There goes the bell. Thank you, Devi. That was good. I'm still not sure whether we need food, clothing, and shelter or not. Okay. Anyway, I'm just playing the fool. Okay, so we're at the halfway mark. We've had Devi Shankla all the way from Delhi, Bluebells, and now we move to the next speaker. From DPS Howrah, we have Aritrika Gupta.
Sir, Aratrika Gupta.
Sorry?
Aratrika Gupta.
Aratrika. Sorry, I'm I
No,
hope I
sir,
got it
it's
right.
okay. It's okay.
Okay, and judges, we can hear her arguing with me? Yeah, okay. So that's fine. So I
Okay,
think
sir.
you get ready. Your time. Oh wait, your topic is glorification of cricket has stymied the development of other sports in India. Glorification of cricket has stymied the development of other sports in India. Aratrika, your time starts
Yes.
now.
Okay. It is not much complicated to answer. If I ask you what shapes a fire, you will answer gravity. But what shapes and glorifies a sport? The answer is, of course, society. People in India have been so involved in cricket that if I go around and ask a few children what our national sport is, they will answer me cricket. And if I ask them that no, it's hockey, they look at me as if I'm some Martian.
Switch.
Now, in the words of Shan Warren, to me, cricket is just a simple game. Keep it simple and just go out and play. But don't underrate any sport. Everything has its own importance. Luckily, Indians are changing every day because of these champs, which pushes us into sports like badminton. We have PV Sindhu, and Sakshi Malik in wrestling, Sania Mirza in tennis. In boxing, we have Mary Kom, and last but not at all the least, our
Switch.
2021 champion. Okay, so it is become like a religion of the cricket has become religion of the country, and it's synonymous with the word sports. Digitalization and the aura of technology surrounding us leads to the development of apps that even during the online exams, a mere 10 seconds is wasted in seeing which inning is now going on in the match. Everyone knows that there's an app for cricket, CrickBuzz, where any other sports app don't possess that much credit. India does not have a dearth of
Switch.
potential. India's performance in Asian Games after introduction and popularity of cricket has hardly changed. India finds entertainment in cricket, but it has not impacted India's position in other sports as well. Olympics and Paralympics do not have cricket, but our Indian athletes have held their heads high and brought home many medals and honors, which has glorified India's position all over the world in terms of sports, not only in cricket.
Switch.
India does not have a dearth of potential and talent. If a sport is well popular and well respected in the country, it will be well funded and will become a popular sport. There would be many more talented players winning medals for our country in other sports which are not so popular in our country. In a more
Switch.
developed country, India was never a great sports nation like China, USA, Japan, and but the performance that India has shown in Olympics not only shows but proves that the stigmatization of sports only nearing cricket is not at all true. Therefore, we
Switch.
can say it is in a more developed country, all the sports are given proper importance and funding, and it leads to better training and infrastructure. But in a country like India with so many other problems, we cannot be bothered with giving the same attention to each and every sport. Also, because cricket had a great heritage, it was a part of our cultural courtesy. The British, it has been given significant importance. It always had an aura around it. The greatest advantage of cricket is, thank you.
Your time's over, Aratrika. Thank you. I actually agree with this topic. Glorification of cricket has actually killed a lot of sports. But that's not my opinion. It's not a debate. It's basically how well you handle the switching from one topic to the other. Okay, which brings me to the next speaker, Fiona Raj from Sri Shikshatan. I think we've met before.
Yes, sir.
Fiona, you're there. Oh, there you are. Okay. So
I hope I'm
Fiona,
audible and visible.
at the Ellen Birla, yes. And you're audible, you're visible, and the nicely painted wall behind you is also visible.
Sir, actually, I'm hearing echo from the side of the meet.
Just go back a bit.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. Okay, I hope I'm audible now.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay. Fine.
Okay. So Fiona, your topic is money runs the world. The rest is just detail. Money runs the world. The rest is just details, and your time starts now.
In the words of a popular bard of our modern times, Ariana Grande, whoever said money can't solve your problems must have not had enough money to solve them. And I, Fiona Raj of Sri Shikshatan School, am here to convince you that it's after all just money that runs the world, while the rest is just details. First of all, I wouldn't need examples to prove that every human activity is valued by the amount of profit it generates. Literally every organized event has something to do with money, and everything has a reasonable price. The things we look out for, but it's not that the world is run by money, it's that the world chooses to run itself with money as a tool. Monetary profit matters this much to us because it directly translates to tangible good things for people at large. The scores aren't the reason you play a sport. And if life is a sport and the economy is our point system, are we not living a life to fundamentally experience the sport of life? If we had to narrow down the complexity of our human experience. On the contrary, your sporting career is largely controlled by how much you score in the sport. To actually thrive in a sport, scores are fundamental. Goals runs football and runs run cricket, and money runs society. And the opposition forgets that without money, you have no power. That is why a street dweller has no power at all and is the lowest on the rung of the society. The people in power are all rich. See the correlation there. But money is by no means the sole driver of our world. And societies have existed and thrived without money in the past. In the words of Frank Underwood, money is the McMansion in Sarasota that starts falling apart after 10 years. And power is the old stone building that has stood for centuries. The problems with money are actually problems with power. But think about power in general. Poor countries would hardly survive a pandemic because they don't have the power. Because of the lack of money they have to not support a medical infrastructure. The Taliban wouldn't have the power to take over Afghanistan if they weren't a $1 billion agency funded by world politics. Human rights are controlled by money, and we don't even need more examples for that. Think about the career you're choosing in life. I know money is very important for that, but is it your true driver? Because in a world full of complexities, there's only a few things that define the importance of life. You need few things to live, a comfortable life full of love, and an incentive to be raised to a better standard of life. And money just acts as a demarcation to the simple human agendas. But think about the career you're choosing in life. Even if it's something you love doing, would it look lucrative enough if it didn't pay enough? And the respect associated with money. Isn't it a little amusing how respect and dignity in society has been segmented according to people's net worth, not by the quality of one's profession? Thank you.
Thank you, Fiona. That was nice. Money runs the world and the rest is just details. So we're now on to the next speaker, number 8, from Sushila Birla Girls School. Khushi Dhanuka, I think we've met before as well.
Yes.
Khushi, can you come on screen and say a few words so we know everything's working?
Yes, am I audible and visible?
You're audible, you're visible as well. Okay, so Khushi, your topic is artificial intelligence shall supplant humanity. Artificial intelligence shall supplant humanity, and your time starts now.
In a world driven by technology and run by mobile phones, is artificial intelligence the last invention humanity will ever need to make? Or does artificial intelligence have the same relationship with intelligence that artificial flowers have to flowers? A very good afternoon to one and all present here. I am Khushi Dhanuka of Sushila Birla Girls School, and my motion for the day is artificial intelligence will supplant humanity. Elon Musk had a dream of a car factory looking more alien than human, with hundreds of robots working in an assembly line, because he argued, why take more people who will just drag the production speed, cost, and magnitude? The only problem I feel is that this data wasn't assessed correctly, because the results after it explain the very same. Because the robots weren't really up to the mark. After promising 20,000 models a month, they could only generate 2,500, which ultimately hiring employees. But the problem in this motion, I feel, is the word will. Because it's not future, it's present. The world that we're living in today, humans have already started supplanting in machines. Be it be self-drivers or autonomous machines or smart assistants or disease mapping. We have already replaced humanity with artificial intelligence.
Switch.
But, ladies and gentlemen, with power comes responsibility. Creativity always does not equate to efficiency. There have been numerous cases of Uber self-driving autonomous cars killing pedestrians, supercomputers recommending unsafe cancer treatments, and facial recognition tools being biased towards skin tones. This exactly explains how artificial intelligence is great at collecting data, but it is only humans that can analyze the data that is provided. Now, robots and machines have a processing system way faster than our neurons. They have a speed way faster than us, and they have a very uniform rate of efficiency. There is no better method to it. It's a win-win situation. Why wouldn't companies want to employ robots? People feel like it's an expenditure cost. And when people argue against it and say that, oh, they will attack humanity, do they realize that when they argue against artificial intelligence, they're actually arguing against better medicine that can cure people? Do they realize? But more than that, this world is not just about what we seem it to be. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the most primitive factor of a human is its ability to empathize, is its ability to express. In a room, if it catches fire, humans will rush. The robots can actually generate machines that can make sure that it does not catch fire.
Thank you, Khushi.
Thank you.
That was nice. I'm not sure whether artificial intelligence will supplant humanity eventually, but we'll have to see. We'll have to work with it. For the time being, it's still artificial. Okay. We move on to the penultimate speaker today, Bhargavi Das. Did I get your name right, Bhargavi?
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
South Point High School. Okay, yes, you sir. Seem to have a nice diffusion filter on your camera. It's not very sharp, but okay, we can see you and we can hear you. So that's no problem. And your topic is OTT platforms are here to stay, and your time starts now.
Good morning, everyone. I am Bhargavi Das of South Point High School, and today I'll be speaking on the topic OTT platforms are here to stay. Now, suppose one had a hectic day, crammed to the brim with work, be it office work as well as household chores, and is utterly stressed, tired of bearing the monotonous drudgery of daily routine life, and tired of portraying the perfect representation for the domesticated entity of a civilized society. OTT platforms are always there for the rescue as a lifesaver. One can steal out some time from their lives. Now, due to OTT platforms, people always are tending these days to steal out time from their lives, daily routine lives, and are tending to devote their time to these OTT platforms, watching more and more shows. Now, this is causing a lack of productivity in the work of people, due to which development is at a risk, and we can also face economic crisis eventually. The OTT platform. But the OTT platforms, they're always giving the people a very good opportunity for recreation. We all need a break from our daily routine life. Then also again, OTT platforms, they are giving cheap access to a wide variety of shows or movies to the mass. But it is not the same when one watches a movie in a movie hall. But whatever, this anywhere, anytime concept is also causing a lack of human social interactions. People are always constantly on their phones or TV or computers, and they are constantly glued to the computer screens. This is often grandparents, often children, they do not pay heed to the words of their grandparents, due to which their grandparents also are feeling left out these days and are like finding it difficult to cope with the youth. OTT platforms, they give the audience the ability to watch numerous shows and movies, and not only just one newly released movie, as the ticket as one single ticket in a movie hall does. India is a massive country with a huge population. Often due to the huge population, emerging talents are not paid enough heed or are neglected. But now, due to the arrival of OTT platforms and enhancement of their impact in our lives because of the ongoing pandemic, more emerging talent people are being paid heed than ever before. Thus, working opportunity has increased. But always the movies viewed in new movie halls have a huge impact on the audience. The huge screens and the prolific sounds used, unlike in an OTT platform, using which shows or movies can be viewed in such it cannot be viewed in such huge screens, and so the impact of the movie or show is also sometimes feeble than expected. Since OTT platforms are accessible anywhere at any time, the mass, especially the youth, is hooked.
We seem to have lost that connection. Judges, are you with me? Because we seem to have lost Bhargavi's connection. Okay. So, any case, we're at the end of our 3 minutes. So, we'll move on to the last speaker for today. Last speaker is from Birla High School, Ram Daftari. Is that the name, Ram? Can you come on screen, please?
Yes, sir, that's my name. So, good
That's
morning.
your name? Great. Good afternoon. And your topic, so the whole school, Birla High School, Ram Daftari, speaks on hybrid style of online education can replace brick and mortar schools. It's an interesting topic. Your time starts now.
Good morning, everyone. So first of all, we must understand what hybrid education is, beginning with the proposition. It's simply put, the best of both worlds. It combines the good of both physical and online methods, and it was literally developed to be better and replace the primitive form of schooling. Physical schools provide peer groups, while online modes facilitate the needs of individuals. This is combined by hybrid education. It covers the I and we. And why would we not prefer something which has been developed after learning from the fallacies of both forms? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, online education and physical education have their drawbacks. For example, for online, it's lack of interaction. For physical education cannot fathom the amount of information which can be facilitated. However, what we must also understand is today the digital divide exists. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, there's an immense disparity in the access to devices and the internet. With this inequality existing, hybrid education, which is based on combining online with the physical, is not feasible, especially in a country like India, where over 50% of students cannot attend online education. We must also understand online education is extremely distraction prone. It reduces our attention span for the generation, and we look for instant gratification.
Switch.
Education exacerbates this, and we must also understand that the use of technology with the help of physical schools actually increases the scope of personalization and engagement. Online learning is a very expansive term because it is undergoing constant development, and with constant development it is customized to our styles. Our brain responds better to audio methods, and we must also understand that with online education comes bullying. Hybrid education worsens bullying because it draws in more facets of inequalities between students, which promotes exclusion. How? We must understand the classroom aspect is where bullying takes place per se, while the online aspect introduces new inequalities with worsen it. Furthermore, online education is accompanied with the internet. Now, we must understand with the internet comes globalization. Globalization makes students global citizens due to the online aspect, but with the physical aspect, they stay true to their roots. It increases networking, connects them with the world, but they do not forget their origin. It also increases flexibility. More free time leads to more time to pursue interests and hobbies, which leads to self-development. And furthermore, we must understand that this hybrid education is simply a dilution of physical and online education. And ladies and gentlemen, can a diluted concept stand? It is not an effective force. It is neither here or neither there. Physical education has undergone a long process of development to keep with the changing times, and it cannot be replaced. We must also understand that online education actually leads to the reduction of attention span. And furthermore, hybrid learning helps us become self-directed learners. It's a very complex form, and it requires initiative from us to achieve the learning task, and considerable responsibilities required to balance them. Thus, this gives rise to a self-directed learning style, which benefits us in the long run. Furthermore, increase it.
Time's up, Ram. Time's up. That was good. That's interesting. I am still not sure whether we should replace schools with online education. So that brings us to the end of the 10 speakers. I think the judges will have to do their tallying right now, and then maybe, I don't know, I think the results are not declared anyway. So the judges will be doing their tallying, and I'll hand you back to the hosts. Can I hand you back to the hosts?
Yes, sir. What a cutthroat session of debating that was. Thank you, participants and moderator, sir, for giving us this thoroughly exciting session. Now, I would like to invite Ma'am Vandana Paul to please share her views on the event. Ma'am Paul?
Yes. Good morning, everybody. Can you all hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
As the most general question right now is, can you hear me?
Ma'am,
So,
just a moment. Can you please switch on your video, please? I think your video is switched on.
okay.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. So now I think you can see me also. Like I said, in the online classes, that's all we go. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Because half the class goes like that. Anyway, so this was a wonderful session, and I thoroughly enjoyed listening to all the speakers, and it was just something very new, this Turncoat event. I have not witnessed this, and I'm really honored and privileged to be a part of this today. So every speaker was good. I'll say it's very difficult to judge, and in this new way of learning in the new pandemic, it's all very new for everybody, but I think everyone is coping very well. And like I said, my mantra or motto has always been whatever you focus on expands. So this pandemic has brought a lot of difficulties and hardships, but at the same time there have been a lot of positive aspects also, new ways of learning and new things. And today we are on this platform. I usually used to come and witness this event in the Vidya Mandir and enjoy each and every event. But like I said, we learn new things and we innovate, and innovation is the name of the game today. And God bless all of you children, and God bless you all. And of course, Birla High School, their team of teachers who have done a commendable job, and the principal, and each and every one of you who has put in their effort into making this a successful event. So that's it. I'll leave it there. And of course, I have done my tabulations and I will put in my marks very shortly. And very nice moderation also. I congratulate everybody. And like I said, it's a great teamwork. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I would now like to request Mr. Samarjit Guha to please say a few words. Sir.
Good afternoon. Really, first of all, happy to come and judge this. I've done a few Odyssey events before. It reminded me a bit of an event I used to moderate called AM, half a minute. And that was again almost like this, and switching sides, though that was live at Vidya Mandir. So when I was judging this one, I was reminded of the other one we used to do. It's a very difficult thing to do, and all of you have done it very well. I doubt when anyone else would have been able to do it so well like you all did. And it's very difficult really at such short notice to speak both ways. I mean, the nature is in all of us to speak both ways. We speak in front something and we think of it, or speak of it behind people or something. But to say it confidently right in front of all of you, all of us listening here and then being judged is very difficult. I really enjoyed it. What I missed a bit was a bit of drama. This is a chance to give you a bit of drama actually while speaking, and the physical part of it. And next time when we do, and if you take part, do add a bit of drama to your stuff, which makes it more interesting and takes your attention away from maybe content and delivery a bit. It's perfectly fine if a bit of physical animation comes on your face and you talk both sides, and you can add that element next time. Other than Leslie, thank you so much. It was great meeting you, and the switches were really fast. I was wondering if you switched so much, if you were ever a railway traffic controller in the cabin and switching tracks, there would be accidents every minute. This one was very great, Leslie. I really enjoyed it. Rohan and your partner, thank you so much for introducing us. Great to always come back to the family by a team of teachers and students here. Really grateful to you for supplying me with constant water and coffee, and excited. I enjoyed. Remember, may the best one win, and it doesn't matter who wins or who loses. Participation and participating in an event like this is very important. I really think it's one of the best events that I've come, and thank you so much. It was a great morning to spend.
Absolutely, absolutely, Mr. Guha. It has really been a pleasure having you here with us. Lastly, but not the least in any way, I would request Chairperson Sir, Mr. Leslie Digama, to kindly wrap up Double Cross, sponsored by Cover Drive Turf.
Thank you so much, Rohan. Thank you, Sandukta, for having me here. Thank you, Birla High School, for calling me year after year, online, offline, brick and mortar, and everything, for judging various events. I've always been really very happy to be here because of the quality that just keeps going up, and that's important to me. With regard to the speakers today, the 10 of you were really very, very interesting. I enjoyed the day. I had a lot of work to do. I had to keep tally. So if you're talking about double crossing, I was double crossing a lot. Every time I had to keep tally of who was speaking and what were they speaking on, and then trying to concentrate on what they were saying as well. But I did make a few points which I wanted to share with you. And my topic today is Odyssey is not a fest, it's a quest. And I'm going to speak for the motion. So for me, Odyssey has been a quest. It keeps getting better. It keeps looking for new ways. It keeps looking for better things to do. Just like Ulysses in the original Odyssey, to strive, to seek, to find, and not to yield. Switch, but Odyssey is a fest. And a fest is where people have a festival and they celebrate. And I think you guys are doing a fantastic job of celebrating. All the speakers today, you celebrated the way you speak, the way you celebrated your schools, you wore your school uniform. That's part of the celebration. Swish. But Odyssey is a quest, and in the quest, you actually look for new things to do. And we learned a lot of new things. We learned that there were new speakers today. We learned that speakers learned new ways of speaking from other speakers. That's part of the quest. Okay, my 3 minutes is up. Now I'm going to bring up a few specific points for the speakers. I think preparation in 90 minutes for a 3-minute speech is excellent. You all did a very, very good job. And even though you're virtual, you can still clap for yourselves. Okay, I think you all need a clap or a pat on the back or whatever else, buy an ice cream, whatever. The most difficult thing to manage in an online speaking contest or any kind of online speaking, including all of the teachers here, is not to have any audience response. It's terrible. I mean, you don't know if you're getting through. You have only this one guy going on like a railway, what did you call me, Samarjit? A railway controller saying switch, 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 switch off. I mean, that's all that happens. You're not getting audience response. And I think you did a fabulous job considering that you do not have audience response. The other thing is, I found that a few of the speakers, and I'm guilty, spoke too fast. So it was a bit difficult to actually catch on to what they were saying and award them points. So I had to struggle to listen at high speed and switch at high speed. And thereby, I think, Samarjit, we cause more accidents. Okay. I love the way that people make a point. When they're making a point, they say, on the other hand, however, but. These are all connecting words that actually turncoat. You switch sides by deliberately switching sides. Some of you did not do this and got yourselves a little confused. I even found one guy doing a bit of drama, like Samarjit says. Drama is important, but the drama of the spectacles actually got confused. The for was off and the against was on, and then somewhere down the line he got confused. That can be distracting. You've got to be careful about that. I found I would give points to people who could transition between words. So when you're saying, you're giving an example and you're giving a particular word and you're told to switch, you take that word and flip it around to the next idea. That would be really important. Like I said, if I say the word quest, I can make a case for it. If I say the word fest, I can make a case for it. And finally, just for the speakers, in a debate, if you want to define, that's fine. But in a 3-minute turncoat, I don't think you need to define the topic. Don't let the audience waste time in defining the topic, right? That's my final suggestion. Thank you very much. And as we say in the debates, don't read from your screen. That's important too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. That was absolutely amazing. A big thank you goes out to all the participants. And now it's time to move on to Introspect, our next event for the day.